Virtual reality has slowly been evolving over the years. What started off as an enthusiast product has now branched out to the average consumer with the likes of PSVR and MetaQuest. Sony is revisiting VR once again with their latest rendition of console virtual reality with PSVR2, boasting top-spec features and 4K resolution, but most importantly, they're removing the need of external cameras and ones with coloured balls on the end of them that look like they belong in a fucking red room. Now, I have owned both PSVR and MetaQuest 2, so I'm not talking completely out of my ass when I say that the novelty of these products wears off real fast and VR just becomes boring. But Sony has the chance to finally change that. The whole concept of virtual reality being that it puts the player into the world of a game and allows you to experience it as close to reality as possible is the dream of any avid gamer. And when I tried VR for the first time with PlayStation VR, I was blown away at how immersive it was. And after a while I upgraded to Quest, which gave far better controls and tracking with a bump of resolution and freedom of wires, which really helped to bring that immersion to another level. The only thing that was missing was the games. Now don't get me wrong, there are some fantastic experiences in VR, Beat Saber being one of my all-time favourites, but I want to get lost in an immersive world and still to this day, despite adapting all the hardware, have yet to live out that dream. Due to its nicheness, the majority of games available on these headsets tend to be endless shooters that have you positioned stationary or small-time one-and-done experiences, which are great, but they're short-lived. For VR to move forward and to be taken seriously, bigger and better games need to be developed for it. And we've already had a taste of what these games can be with the likes of Half-Life Alyx, Asgard's Wrath, and The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, of which only The Walking Dead has made its way to either of the VR headsets that I have tried. And before you come for me in the comments saying games like Resident Evil and Skyrim are in VR and they're also AAA, I am talking about games made specifically for VR, not ports. Ports of these games to VR are great, but they feel like a port. I'm not immersed fully because the game was never truly intended to be played in VR, and as such, it waters down the experience. So with that, let's move on. VR is still niche and new, so I don't expect any small-time devs to develop a massive open-world immersive VR experience. It's hard enough to do that on traditional consoles, but Sony's in a unique position of having a top-spec headset and a shit ton of IPs that can be adapted to full native VR games with the studios to build them. I want to wield Kratos' axe and slice up some enemies, and I also want to explore the vast jungles in hopes of finding lost treasure in Uncharted. And I want entirely new worlds to visit, and Sony has the chance to deliver on them all. And it seems Sony is starting to make these steps with Call of the Mountain, a spin-off launch title for PSVR2 set in the world of Horizon. Albeit it seems from the media that I've seen this will still be an experience as opposed to a fully open world AAA game, but it's a move in the right direction nonetheless. If virtual reality has any chance of living up to its name, Sony needs to develop games that make me feel like I'm actually experiencing a virtual reality. Not stationary shooters, not Tetris with pretty lights, and certainly not whatever the fuck this is. Just give me real immersive games. But enough about what I think. I want to know what you think. Drop a comment and let's discuss. And if you like the video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button while you're there too. It's always appreciated. And as always, big love to our patrons who support us with their pledges. It does not go unnoticed.